Hi, I'm Blake Alexander. We are here at our farm in Crescent City, California. This is our main dairy. It's where we live and where we've raised our children. I'm the owner, along with my wife Stephanie and our children, who have now kind of married off and decided to work for us. At least three of them have. And so we kind of run this collectively all together in a group effort. Started our own brand about 8 years ago, and we sell milk across the country. We manage now more than 9,000 acres, about 4 or 5,000 right here in this county, in Norte County. So where are we on the farm? We're actually right here. The main dairy is right over there. The egg ranch is right there over my shoulder. We're at our riparian restoration project that we did in the early 2000s, right here to the left, about a mile's worth of really cool habitat that we created. Back when we bought this ranch, this fence didn't exist, and the cattle had full access down to the creek or the stream. It's more of a seasonal creek here. There are some deep spots that never dry up, but when we took over here, we did a riparian restoration project, got a little bit of funding both from federal and state, and basically built a fence and planted some trees. And it's been a good 25 years ago, so they're well established. When we first took over this property, the cattle had full access down and through, and it was just the way it was, the way it's been for hundreds of years. And so we built a fence back from the creek, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, wherever, we just kind of randomly, make a straight line, and the creek's meandering through. And then planted the trees to really stop the cattle from having access to the water and causing any issues down there, because they tend to overgraze around water and make mud and things like that. And so then the second point to that is planting the trees, which creates shade and maybe shading out the berry briars, which we have a lot of Himalayan berries that really aren't contributing a lot of goodness to the environment. And then shading the water so it doesn't get too hot for the little fish that do live in there. We got into restoration really through, I guess, my involvement in the Northwest Regional Land Trust, starting 30-some years ago. And I learned a lot about basically the environment and preserving land and conserving land, as opposed to just production agriculture, which is the world I grew up in. And so we're trying to blend the two as much as we can, as often as we can. And so we do riparian restoration work wherever and whenever we can. And one of the caveats is that we always retain the grazing rights inside that side of the fence. And so we want to be able to use our cattle to go in and kind of manage around the trees and keep the grasses down, especially in these seasonal creeks that tend to just grow a lot of grass all summer long or fall. We want that to be not in the waterway when the waters come back up. And so the cattle are a wonderful tool for utilizing that. And so, yeah, flash grazing, as defined by us, is really taking a mob of cattle, 50 or 200 head of cattle, and putting them in this long, narrow corridor for 1 day or 2 days, maybe 3 days. And you kind of got to do it as needed. We can't really write a prescription for it. So when these trees are really young, we would maybe let our chickens graze up around them. We did a lot of hand work in that first 2 years, 3 years, to keep the grasses from outgrowing the tree and falling over. So we had to protect, our investment in a sense. But once you get into year 3, 4, 5, 6, and the trees are established, flash grazing is a wonderful tool. Cattle go in, they're all heads down, paying attention to the grass, not really nibbling or looking at the trees, especially these little spiky, spiny Sitka spruce that are dominant around here. So they protect themselves pretty well from the cows. Now the trees are doing their job and shading things out so well that there's just not a lot of, I guess, vegetation management required. And so the cattle are really a wonderful tool for laying it down on the ground where the biology can get a hold of it and the carbon can go down, not up. And it's just a smarter option than going in with weed eaters and crews of people. And so I think it financially makes a lot more sense as well. right? Cattle get a few days worth of feed, so me as the owner of the cattle, I benefit from that. And when we pull them out, the area has been groomed and grazed, and grass is knocked down where the biology can get a hold of it. And so it's just a win-win-win, net benefit for everybody. It's worth it to me because I enjoy the beauty of the trees. I think everybody has a personal opinion of I know a few of our guys just really appreciate what it's doing for the fish. They love to fish. And others love what it's doing for the bird population. And a lot of people in the community love what it's doing for both the fish and the bird populations. And we're quite proud of that, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for, the beauty of it and kind of the over-encompassing benefits. And, again, it's clean water, clean air, and the whole system. Climate change has really just been an awakening to make sure we're managing correctly. It's how it mostly impacts us. And then we're just trying to be the best stewards we can of what God's gifted us with here. And that's taking care of kind of all aspects of the food chain, all aspects of the systems, the water cycle, the air cycle, the carbon cycle, of course, the economics of our community, so regenerative management of everything, regenerating cash flow, regenerating attitudes and happiness for our employees, regenerating the biology and the wildlife, the birds, the fish that use these streams. We have focused on that, and kind of the rising tide lifts all boats, and so the whole system is benefiting, including our cattle and our grasses, our meat, milk, and eggs that we sell, so our consumers are also benefiting. And we're here to help people heal their bodies, which will ultimately heal their heads and ultimately their hearts. We always go the extra mile to make sure our chickens are on grass 365 days a year, and our cows are leaning on grass as much as they possibly can. And so it's not easy making the kind of products that we do. And so they're nutritionally dense, they taste better. We don't have to tell people they taste better, we just have to sell it to them. They get it in their mouth once and they're kind of hooked. And so I think then they go to our website, read our story, and understand what we're doing, and they feel even better about themselves and better about their decision to buy our products, and that whole cycle just keeps snowballing, and sales continue to go and grow.